Hello everybody, Pine here, and today I've got something kind of interesting for you. When you have your mob spawners, specifically the zombie ones, you're able to get the baby zombies. On my world, they would go through my trap, your basic falling trap that you can see here. However, they'd start to get jammed, and it'd prevent the normal zombies from getting through, and then they'd also start to inhibit the spawns too, which would terribly reduce my spawn rates, and it started to kill it, and it was really annoying, so I wanted to find a way to fix it. And so that's what I have for here. So I'm going to demonstrate it, and instead of having a mob spawner, you see I got some dispensers here, and I filled them just with spawn eggs with a clock back here. Now this clock will click a lot faster than mobs will normally spawn. It might seem kind of slow at first, but once you see them start to get piled up over here, you'll realize this is a pretty fast spawn rate. And you'll see that almost all the adult zombies will go up into the trap like they normally would, and then almost all the baby zombies, and I think all of them actually, will be fed into this little lava here and will be burned to death. This happens because you see the adult zombies are 2 blocks tall, and they're always jumping, so the third block they're almost always occupying that space and will be pushed upwards, whereas the baby zombies, you saw one on fire right here, they're only 1 block tall, so when they jump they're almost never going to hit this, and so they're just going to keep jumping along their way until they get pushed into the lava right here, like that little guy, and then they'll be burned to death. This is kind of cool in case you actually wanted to have your drops. You can easily put a hopper right underneath them to pick up the zombie flesh or whatever they happen to drop. And it's also fairly nice because you can build it pretty much directly underneath your dropping mechanism. As you see right above it is just a filtering in all the normal zombies here. Now I'm going to turn this off, and you'll see that there's a lot of zombies ready to go. There's some babies in there, and all these babies will be slowly fed into the fire like these guys, and then all the adults will go up and then fall down into the trap. We can demonstrate this, and we can check also. I built this little mechanism. If we flip the bottom lever, I believe it'll start suffocating the baby zombies and kill them. So we can check. Oops. There are no baby zombies in here. You don't see anybody suffocating, getting killed, or anything. So if we can flip that off. And now you can see, if we flip the top one, it'll just kill all the zombies that are in there, as it normally would. Now I'm going to show you guys how we did this in just a minute. And we can see, just flip it to kill them. And since it's been a while since I've seen my first mob spawner trap farm, I'm going to create my own video so that anybody searching now can have like a much more updated thing as opposed from Minecraft 1.2 or beta versions and whatnot. So your typical mob spawner, you'll have a room with a mob spawner. I don't have one, so I just created this gold block to represent it. What you're going to want to do is clear out 4 blocks on either side of it. That creates a 9x9 room, which you see I have here. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do in this 9x9 room is pick a wall that you're going to want to choose as your front wall. You see, I'm going to pick this one, and you're going to want to dig one underneath it. Just like this. And then seal it off like this. We can actually make this too tall, which would actually make it a little bit better. Just like this. And I'm going to be building this along with you guys, but for you guys you'd almost be doing the opposite. You'd be digging as opposed to building. So we're going to just build it like this, real simple. That should be tall enough for our purposes right now. And the reason I'm choosing 9 blocks is the spawner typically has a 8x8x2 spawning radius. However, there are ways to determine which direction that is that it'll spawn. Because 8 is an even number, it'll be 4 on this side and then 4 over here, so it would appear uneven with respect to the mob spawner. It's because it references from like a corner like this. There's a way to determine which corner, but I find it just as easy to just make it 9x9. So the next thing you're going to want to do is get a bunch of water buckets and just place them in the back corner of the room. Just like that. And you'll see all the water will run just up to this edge, which is exactly what we want it to. And then the one corner like this, on this ditch you created, we're going to have one open end and one closed end. We're going to put water in the closed end. And you'll see the water will flow pretty much all the way. Now right here, we're going to dig one more down again. And this is where we're going to start our little filter system. So I'm going to build it out a couple more blocks. And I'm going to start working out of glass so that we can see what's happening while the mobs are actually spawning and walking through this thing. So we're just going to build a tunnel for them to travel through. And again, like before, we're going to also fill it with water so that they're constantly just pushed along their merry way. So here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to decide where they're going to want we're going to want our mobs to start going upwards into the sky like that pillar. Typically, you're going to want to be more than 8 blocks away from this. This thing has a it checks a 17 by 17 by 4 maybe so 4 tall and then 17 wide in a square and 17 wide in the other direction. So basically 8 blocks away from this, it'll check to see if there's more than 6 zombies, and if there are, it won't spawn. So you are going to want them to start going up further away from that to make sure this is always getting its maximum spawn. So let's see. I'm just going to count it out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you'd want it to be roughly this far away minimum. So I'll keep that there just as a reference, and we'll have them to start going up right here. So let's build this out another 2 blocks. So there we go. Okay, so now we're going to decide where they're going to start going up. We said right around here. And what you're going to do is you're going to put a sign kind of at eye height while standing there. So right here. Now you don't need to write anything. And then we're also going to want this to be sealed off right here, so that it's only 2 blocks tall. Actually, that doesn't matter. So we're going to have it like this. We'll make this, that's 3 blocks. So now the area is 3 blocks tall. And we're going to put a roof on it here. Just like this. So you see now the mobs will be funneled into here. And they'll constantly be jumping, so they'll be nice and happy. And then right where the sign is, we're going to stop making that roof. And we're actually going to alternate. And I'm just going to build this up a little bit. You're going to build a long passage upward. But before we get there, let's finish this little sorting system thingy. So immediately after this, let's see how far this water travels. Oh, perfect. Oops. Okay, so the water travels to here. So on this last block, we're going to place a sign right here. What that does is it just stops the water from traveling into this block. Then we're also going to put a 2-high ceiling over here. And you'll see the mob that all the tall zombies won't get past this, because they're always going to be jumping when they're in this other area. They're always going to be jumping, and then they'll get caught right here, almost never getting pushed into here. So right here, we're just going to close this off, and right in this block, we're going to need to put another sign right here underneath that block, and a lava bucket right here. What this does is it forces all the short mobs to be forced into this, and then it just kills them as quickly as it can. It also prevents the lava from flowing this way and messing with our trap. So to continue with the actual trap, what we're going to do is we have this column going upwards. It's going to actually completely encase them, but so they're going to be floating along this way. We're going to need to put a sign here, so diagonally from our first one, from where we decided to build up. And we're going to put a water bucket on top of that. Now we're just going to alternate back and forth between putting signs and putting water buckets down. So sign, skip one, etc. And then build all 4 sides up so that the zombies, what will happen is they'll be swimming upwards, and this will prevent them from drowning in the process. They'll be jumping constantly when they're in water, and then they'll hit a blank spot and they'll be able to breathe and keep going up. So just like that. We're going to do this until it gets, I believe the number is 22 or 23 blocks high. You're going to do that. I'm only going to build it a few more, but it's the same pattern the whole way up. The purpose of building it so high up is so that once the zombies are up, they fall down and they'll fall to half a heart. Half a heart, you can just punch them once with no swords, no nothing, and you'll be able to kill them. And it's very good for building an efficient experience farm, and it's also what you do for skeletons since they have the same amount of health. So once we get to the top here, and we're just going to say this is the top, what you're going to do is we're going to build over now. And we're also going to build upwards, and I'm also going to put a roof on the top here because since we're in daylight, all the mobs will start to burn. So yes, I have blocks. And we're also going to put a sign on so there's the hole that they're coming up from, one block, and then the third one on the bottom we're going to put a sign and put the water bucket where we normally would. This allows the water to flow sideways, but then stops immediately right here. So we're going to put a roof on this. Oops, let's make it out of it has to be a solid block, otherwise the zombies and skeletons will also burn during the day. So we're going to close this off, and on this third one we're going to just allow it to go down, and we're going to build a downwards spot for them to just fall. Now this would also go all 23 blocks down, or however many, 23 or 22, to bring a zombie down to 1 health. And you'll see here we go. And there we go. So now you'll see the zombies, they'll spawn here, and this would be far enough away so that with a normal spawner they'd be able to keep spawning. And then they'll slowly be funneled into they'll be funneled down into there, into a small gap, and go upwards up. But this part right here is the part that gets rid of the baby zombies, which are the nuisance for me, which have caused my traps to stop working anymore. Now let's see, do I have any zombie eggs in here to test it? No, I don't. So here, let's get rid of some blocks, and let's get a couple zombie eggs and test this. And let's do it until we get a baby zombie. So I set this up over here already. Let's just flick the lever a couple times. Every time I flick the lever, a set of zombies spawns. And that's quite a few right there. Did we get any babies? I don't know if we did. But you can see all the standard zombies, they're going on their merry way, going up into the trap. So it's working perfectly for them. Unfortunately, we're not seeing any babies though. And you see they're all being funneled here perfectly. And if this had been tall enough, they'd all be at 1 heart. Or half a heart, not even 1 heart. Alright, here, let's just use a spawn egg. It might even be better. Spawning these guys. I'm not seeing any babies, unfortunately. You know what, we might be able to cheat and make a baby by doing this. Creating a villager. If you hit a villager with a spawn egg, with its own spawn egg, it creates a baby villager. I learned that just the other day. So, and we're just going to have them get zombified. So I'm creating just 1,000,000 little baby villagers. And there we go. And the purpose is just for them to get zombified. Oh, let's go to hard difficulty, because on hard difficulty is when that happens. Oops. Hopefully we get a couple zombies before they all get burned up over here. Did we get any? Well, we got a baby one that somehow fell out of the trap. But either way, you see all the baby villagers at least got funneled over here. They didn't go over there, and they were also jumping in the water. So that also proves the point. You can see that right here, a whole bunch of them. Some tall ones, some tall villagers, and a bunch of baby villagers just to prove the point. You'll see they're all jumping in the water just as a zombie would. All the baby villagers get stuck over here. All the tall villagers are going to be filtered into the trap and die. Well, I hope you guys found this video informative and useful. And if you enjoyed, subscribe and like the video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.